Hey guys, so in the market and in general in the world, right? Today has been a tumultuous day to say the least. So Vladimir Putin went on record to say that Russia is. He didn't say it in so many words as such, but he did confirm that Russia is pursuing military action in Ukraine, and it's obviously a humanitarian crisis, and hopefully common sense prevails and there's no violence and no loss of life. But outside of the humanitarian aspect of it, it has had like a huge impact on the markets as well, right? Uh, so I think I just read that Russia has sort of ceased trading, and Russian markets are like affected in a big way, and this has sort of percolated across the global market. So the S&P 500 has taken a huge hit, and as you can see, Nifty has corrected by like 5% over the course of the week, and so this negative sentiment is definitely it's had a huge impact on my portfolio as well. And I think today is probably the most money I've lost in a single day of trading since I started investing. So again, I won't go into the specifics of how much. So I thought I'd probably record a small video of my outlook on Nifty, and a few stocks that I'm going to accumulate. uh, just sort of trying to wait for Nifty to bottom out, and once I see that there's a sign of reversal, I'll probably deploy capital in a few stocks that I've selected. So jumping straight into the charts, let's look at the weekly. So this is the daily for Nifty 50 right here. Let me go to the weekly. Okay, weekly looks extremely cluttered, but this should still shows why we're tracking a few levels here. Cool. So the two major levels of support that I was tracking were 16,850 to 16,900 roughly. So you can see it had taken support here multiple times. And I was also looking at this level of 16,000. Just one second. Yep. So this level of 16,800 and then this level of 16,400 were the levels that I was tracking. So you can see they were areas of values in the past, as obvious from here. But today's dump has sort of broken through both of those. And we bottomed out at roughly the next area of value, which is this support that you see right here of around about 16,200 to 16,180, right? And if this breaks, then we're probably looking at Nifty going down to test this level of 15,900 to 15,800. And if that level breaks, then you have these levels of 15,600. And let's hope that there's some positive sentiment in the market and the market sees a reversal. But if you see that break as well, then we're looking at the abyss of there's a psychological level of 15,000 obviously. So let's hope that the Nifty never corrects to that level, but if it does, uh, could represent a good buying opportunity, but I don't see that happening at least in the near future. So I'm hoping that Nifty bottoms out at this level of around about 16,150 to 16,200, and if not, then hopefully this level of 15,900 to 15,800 holds. So if the Nifty price ever hits this level, then it's probably a good place. And again, never trade without confirmation. So if you notice buying activity on the daily or let's say the 4 hourly charts at these levels, it's probably a good time to be either entering Nifty index funds or probably buying a few fundamentally good stocks. So on that note, moving on to a few stocks that I'm looking to accumulate at these levels. So the first one is obviously Hdfc Bank. So I've been a customer for ages, and I'm very very bullish on the stock long term. Very cash rich company, has very good ROC, has huge assets under management, and a very very strong leadership, and a customer obsessed way of operating. So if you look at where, so we had this long term trend line as support which we were tracking, and this one as well. So if you look at these two trend lines, it has broken both the support, but where it has bottomed out is an area of value, and that's encouraging for us as well, right? So it's this area of 1,410 to roughly 1,400 where we've seen a bit of buying pressure coming. And the next level that you'll probably look at is this level of 1,750. So hopefully this area of support holds, and if not, then you're looking at 1,350. And if that breaks as well, let me just drop the EMAs onto the chart. Yep, so it's trading below the EMAs, which is a bit concerning. But if you're looking at it from an investment perspective, then these levels that I've marked here of 1350 to 1400 could be good areas to accumulate the stock. And if Nifty corrects further, then I'll probably try and record a video and make sense of where price is bottoming out and whether it makes sense to be buying it there or not. But from an investment perspective, at least for me, this is a good level to be buying. Again, not a buying recommendation. I'm purely educative, so to speak. But I personally will be buying the stock at these levels of 1400 to 1350. Right. Moving on to Asian Paints. Biggest paint company in India, huge user base, awesome supply chain fundamentals, and again, a company that earns a lot of returns on capital and has been a favorite of all mutual fund houses and investment advisors for ages. So one positive that I see here, it's trading above the 55, which could be another good level to be entering the stock, like it was here all the way back in July of 2020. So when we broke above it and sort of retested it as support, would probably have been a great place to enter the stock. And we went on this huge rally afterwards. So, and if you look at where price is bottomed out, it is at an area of support. So this level, which was resistance in the past and then tested as support, is where price is at right now of roughly 3075. So I think price could come down and test this level of 3000 roughly, psychological level as well. And we now see the 55 EMA there as well. So if price comes and tests this level, I'll definitely be averaging my position in Asian Paints there. And if that breaks, then you have these further levels of 2900 to 2850. And if that breaks, then hopefully it doesn't, but then you have these price levels again to be monitoring. So you have 2650, then you have 2500, which is again a psychological level. So hopefully price doesn't go down to test those levels, but if it does, I'll definitely be buying a shit ton of this stock. Great stock, great fundamentals, and yep, again, not buying advice, but just my personal view on the stock. Moving on to Marico. So Marico, again, great company, great fundamentals, very cash rich company. And, it has brands like Saffola Oil and Parachute. Definitely a market leader. And if you look at where price is right now, so we had this long-term trend line, which was tested multiple times as support here, but then we broke this level of support and we came down and we bottomed down at this area value, which is 450 roughly. But then we came back up, hit this trend line, got rejected, again power of technicals, and then we came back down. And where have we bottomed out? At this trend line, which was tested as support here, and then again here. So this is sort of an indication to me that buyers are tracking this level, and I'll probably be interested in the stock from an investment point of view. But again, wait for confirmation, as in a daily close with some sign of buyers being interested in the stock is probably going to be my trigger to buy. But we're now trading below the 55 weekly, which is again a bit concerning. But if you're planning to hold on to the stock for years like I am, this price does look attractive to me, right? So this level of 475 is probably a good place to be buying. If that breaks, then you have the psychological level of 450. If that breaks, then this level of 435 looks like a good place to enter. And if that breaks, then you can probably come down to this level of roughly 410 to 400. Let me drop that onto the chart. Okay, why didn't that work? Okay, but you get the gist, roughly 410 to 430 again. So 435 to 430, and then 410 to 400 could be good places to be accumulating the stock if these current levels of support break. But again, at least for me, if I get some sign of bullish reversal here, I'll be adding to my position in Marico, a great company from a long-term point of view. And moving on to Relaxo, again, biggest footwear chappal brand in India. And if you look at this trend line, resistance, support, and we broke it as support, we've come down and we bottomed out at this horizontal level of roughly 1167, right? Which was support in the past. We've tested it again, and there's a confluence of another area of value, which is this trend line. So once, twice, thrice, 4 times, then we're testing it for the 5th time. Again, I'll wait for some sign of reversal before opening my position in the stock. And again, great company, cash rich company, has great fundamentals, earns good return on capital employed. And yep, let's drop the EMAs to see if it gives us some. Yep, so the stock is again at the 55 weekly EMA roughly. So there's a confluence of three areas of value here, which is why I'm hoping that, buyers are tracking the same levels, and yep, a good stock to be buying. Next one is Amrutanjan Health. All of us know Amrutanjan Balm, right? And where are we right now from a technical point of view? There's this trend line which is operational, but we've broken below it. But we've bottomed out at this horizontal area of value, which is roughly 750, psychological number there as well. So we bottomed out here, and we've come back, and we're now testing this trend line as support. And let me add the EMAs onto the chart. Yep, so it tested the 55 and there was buying pressure here, which is a bullish sign for me. So I think, again, at this price, Amrutanjan looks attractive. And from a long-term point of view, again, good company. It is a company that has really good cash flow numbers. And you can check those on, something like maybe Screener or Ticker Tape as well. And if these levels of support break, it probably comes down to test this level of 690, 700 to 690. And if that breaks as well, probably comes down to 660, 650 to 660 right here. Yep, so these are levels I'll be tracking from Amrutanjan. Moving on to the last stock of the list, which I'm tracking pretty closely. It's Astral Poly, and great stock. It makes pipes, if I'm not wrong. So I read about it in Saurav Mukherjee's book, The Unusual Billionaires, and great company with strong fundamentals. And we got rejected by the 55 weekly, but we've bottomed out at a horizontal area of value right here of 174, roughly 1750, right? Psychological level as some probably. And we've seen a bit of buying pressure come in here, but I'll wait for a bit more confirmation and a bit more, signs of Nifty bottoming out before I enter the stock. But fundamentally, nothing wrong with the company, great company to be buying. And yep, again, not buying recommendations purely from an educational point of view. If this level breaks, then we're probably going to come down and test this level of 1550 or 1550 roughly. Yep. And yep, that looks like a good area. And this would be like a great price to enter the stock. If negative sentiment persists in the market and it comes down to test this level, probably a great place to be entering it. And again, if that breaks again, 1400. This level of 1360, 1375 to 1400 looks like a great place to be entering. Cool. So these are price levels that I'm tracking for the next few weeks at least. Hopefully common sense prevails and Russia calls off its offensive, and then normalcy returns to the world and our markets too. Thank you and happy trading.